Princess Diana and Grace Kelly were two of the world's most famous royals during their time on Earth, but their lives also mirrored each other in strange ways. This video will explore the close friendship between the pair and their eventual fates. Diana and Grace's first meeting. Princess Diana and Grace Kelly first met in 1981 at a charity gala concert held at the Royal Opera House in London. Diana was only 18 at the time, and as this was her first royal engagement, the event proved fairly daunting for the young princess. Fortunately, Grace Kelly was on hand to offer her advice. By this point in her life, Kelly was a highly experienced member of Monaco's royal family, having married into the family in 1959. She knew exactly the kind of pressures Diana was facing, who had only recently announced her engagement to Prince Charles. The royal event had gotten off to a bad start for poor Diana, who discovered to her own embarrassment she had accidentally broken royal protocol. The princess had shown up to the event in a beautiful black dress. However, her royal advisors were less than impressed. According to the monarchy's rules, black was only supposed to be worn at funerals, and the dress's neckline was also considered too low. Noticing Diana's anxious expression, Grace Kelly took her to one side and offered her advice on how to adjust to her new life. Diana was grateful as Grace listened closely to her concerns and explained how she'd experienced the same problems when she first became a royal. Monaco's princess sarcastically informed Charles's fiancé not to worry and that, quote, "it will only get worse." Grace had spent much of her life since marrying Prince Rainier at the age of 26 dealing with invasions from the press, which was something Diana was especially concerned about. The Monaco princess had ended up in a serious car accident upon meeting Rainier for the first time many years before, where they collided with the paparazzi who were chasing them. This would, of course, foreshadow Diana's fatal car crash years later, which also transpired after she was hounded by photographers from the press. Ultimately, the press went on to terrorize Diana in a similar way and cause many problems for the young woman. Even during their first encounter, however, Diana recognized a kindred spirit in Grace. Like Diana, Grace had come from a troubled childhood in spite of her family's wealth and felt abandoned by one of her parents. Both Diana and Grace had been shy introverts as children, making their early years especially lonely. Diana and Grace's cheating scandals. Perhaps one of the most striking similarities between Princess Diana and Grace Kelly is how they both ended up at the center of cheating scandals. Kelly's husband, Prince Rainier, was discovered romancing 3 other women within a month of marrying the Hollywood star. According to royal biographer Wendy Lee, Grace Kelly was left humiliated after learning about what her husband had been up to. Despite his wandering eye, however, he chose not to remarry following Grace's death, as he decided no one could replace his glamorous wife. Diana, meanwhile, found herself in the middle of her own love triangle. Her partner, Prince Charles, started seeing his first love, Camilla Parker Bowles, 5 years into their marriage. This incensed Diana, who chose to air her feelings regarding Charles's betrayal on UK television many years later. Appearing with host Martin Bashir on the BBC current affairs program Panorama, she lamented how there were, quote, 3 people in this marriage, as she explained the reasons behind her divorce from Charles. Like Grace Kelly, Diana's marriage had not provided the loyalty and commitment which the wedding had promised. Neither Diana nor Grace were entirely innocent, however. News site Livingly claims that Grace Kelly had affairs with fellow Hollywood star Marlon Brando and iconic singer Frank Sinatra. Meanwhile, Princess Diana became romantically involved with her riding instructor James Hewitt. One conspiracy theory even suggests that Prince Harry's birth was the result of the princess's affair with Hewitt, which would explain why Harry bears little resemblance to his birth father. Grace and Diana were therefore as guilty at breaking their respective wedding vows. Hey, if you're enjoying this video so far, be sure to give it a like and subscribe to Facts First for more, and stick around for more about Grace and Diana. Grace and Diana's deaths. Perhaps the eeriest comparison between Grace Kelly and Princess Diana is how their deaths were so similar. Both princesses passed away following horrific car crashes in countries different from where they were born and were mourned by millions across the globe. They were both international sensations who left the world before their time. Their funerals were among the most watched television broadcasts, as many paid their respects to these beloved figures. Grace Kelly's sad demise came after she was driving her daughter, Princess Stephanie, back to their home in Monaco. The pair had been staying in a country house in Roc Agel, and Grace decided to drive Stephanie to the palace herself after realizing that with Stephanie's luggage in the back seat, there wouldn't be enough room for Grace, Stephanie, and her chauffeur. It proved to be a fatal decision, as the car careened off the side of a cliff on the mountain road. While Stephanie survived with minor injuries, Grace was less fortunate. Princess Diana was greatly affected by Grace Kelly's death. Upon learning about the crash, she pleaded with Charles to allow her to attend the funeral on the Queen's behalf. Charles was reluctant to accept Diana's request, however, failing to see any good reason why she should be there. The Princess of Wales disagreed, as she reasoned that Grace, much like herself, had been an outsider who married into a big family. Charles remained unconvinced, but Diana was nothing if not a determined figure, and so when her husband wouldn't agree to the proposition, she sought a higher authority. Unhappy with Charles's attitude, she marched straight to the Queen and asked for permission. The Queen was bemused as to why Charles had denied his wife the chance to pay her respects, and reportedly told the young princess she saw no reason why she shouldn't attend. Princess Diana was a key figure at Grace Kelly's funeral as she said goodbye to her close friend. Diana's own passing came 15 years later, following her driver's attempts to evade the paparazzi on the way back to London. As they approached the Pont de l'Alma tunnel, with her new partner Dodi Fayed beside her in the vehicle, they were bombarded by press photographers. The driver's efforts to escape were in vain, as he crashed into a pillar inside the tunnel. These members of the paparazzi showed no remorse as they gathered around the damaged car to photograph the dying princess. The doctors tried their best to save Diana, but her injuries were too severe, and the beloved royal died a short while later. Dodi and their driver also lost their lives in the horrific crash. Grace and Diana's legacy. While Grace Kelly and Princess Diana may no longer be around to tell their tales, their legacies both live on. Both have awards named in their honor, with the Diana Award celebrating the work of young individuals who engage in humanitarian work, and the Princess Grace Awards aiming to celebrate new talent in film, dance, and theater. Both also have living relatives who continue their charity work in their absence. Grace Kelly's eldest child, Princess Caroline, for instance, works with the children's charity UNICEF, while Diana's first son, Prince William, is the founder of the mental health campaign Heads Together. Perhaps one of the most impressive charitable endeavors in Diana's name is the Archewell Foundation. Launched by Prince Harry and Meghan Markle in 2020, Harry's not-for-profit charity organization honors his mother by targeting issues that were close to her heart. The Archewell Foundation aims to support homeless pregnant women and those struggling with mental health issues, topics Diana attempted to raise greater awareness of many years before. Grace Kelly's youngest daughter, Stephanie of Monaco, is herself a major charitable figure. The princess is the founder of the charity Fight AIDS Monaco and has recently released her own fragrance called Princess de Coeur to raise money for those suffering from AIDS. Diana and Grace's physical presence may be gone, but they both live on in spirit. Now it's time to hear from you. Who's your favorite royal? Let us know in the comments section below. And before you go, make sure you give this video a like and subscribe to Facts Verse if you haven't already. Click the bell icon to stay updated on all our latest content.